Hey everybody, Jeff Joniak and Tom Thayer. Welcome into game preview as the Bears take on the Detroit Lions back in the division at Soldier Field. A noon kickoff, 9 a.m. on the radio on WBBM. After the Bears lost to the Miami Dolphins, they have now 6 defeats, but it didn't feel like a loss. I know you're not supposed to say that out loud, but we saw special. We saw special at Soldier Field. If you were good enough to be at Soldier Field and buy that ticket was worth the price of admission because of Justin Fields and his performance running the football.
Well, you know, at the beginning of the year, let's go back, because what did you want to accomplish this year out of the Chicago Bears? You wanted certain positions, certain players, and the development of a new coaching staff to start the trajectory of the Bears in an upward position. So it's gone in an upward position, but now it's kind of turned upward even steeper because of the performance of different individuals, not only Justin, but I think this is really a unique game to play this week because I think emotionally the Detroit Lions have the attention of Dan Campbell and they have the attention of him, and the Bears have the attention of Matt Eberflus, and they're excited about what this team can offer in the future. So I think there's a lot of interesting dynamics of both of these teams, where they're ultimately building to where they want to be.
Well, that's the exact quote. You know, these are two teams trying to build a football team.
Yeah.
They're building a football team from the ground up here, and you know, they each have their own unique twists to it and all. They've had a head start on the Bears, obviously, with Dan Campbell's regime. But they have a new general manager here in the last couple of years also.
But the thing that impresses me most about it, because we all knew what Justin's athletic capabilities were ever since he was at the Combine and through his college career. Watch Thayer's playbook this week, because
I never miss it.
You show a little bit of the elements. Why is the running so successful of Justin? Because it is the immediacy of what the offensive line's providing for him, how receivers are turning into blockers 20 yards downfield, the angles that they're willing to take to get in front of defenders to allow Justin extra running room. Some of the abuse they're willing to take in the blocks they're trying to perform because their receivers blocking defensive ends and running downfield. So it's a total team effort, which is really kind of is the most exciting element of it.
It's the Hester effect, because everybody went way out of their way to be a part of that.
Right.
Starters on special teams. And, you know, that has a big impact on a football team. Now, granted, you still got a trigger from the pocket in this league. And when it comes time to make the big throws in the biggest moments, you got to make those throws. Now, Justin Fields, and we're not just going to talk about Justin Fields here because it's bigger than that, but Justin Fields is now 4th in first downs in the National Football League, regardless of position, with 42 first downs. That's impressive. Yeah. He's only a few first downs from the top, and he's 10th in rushing yards in the NFL. I mean, what he did is just incredible.
But, you know, it's a total
9 games.
It's a total team effort, because going back during my era with Barry Sanders, for example, here's a guy that carried a bulk of the load for the Detroit Lions. He's the type of guy, even if you were an opponent, you stood on the sidelines because you wanted to watch him. Yeah. And that's kind of the Justin effect also. Everybody wants to see the superstars like that, and we've been fortunate enough to be in the NFL long enough, but there's been other guys like that that have piqued your interest so much that rather than sitting and watching the game, you stood at the sideline with anticipation.
It's like a beacon of light all of a sudden. You know, Soldier Field now, people want to be there. They're going to want to be there to see this, and they're going to want to have it on around the National Football League. He's got everybody's attention right now. So where do they go from here? How do you get wins now? So the Bears offense outscored the Miami offense. The block punt obviously can't happen. That's something. It's a thin margin of error for this football team. They're not there yet. They're still learning how to win in general. But I do take away a lot how the defense weathered the storm and hung in there and made some big plays at big moments in that game to give the offense a chance.
Right. You know, when there's a defensive coordinator in the NFL that formulates a plan of how to stop Miami, then you're going to see a copycat league, and everybody's going to try to emulate that type of plan. But I like the fact that these guys give so much effort in some late game heroics throughout the season and the way they go out and play. But they need to do it against Detroit this weekend because they have experience at the quarterback position in Jared Goff. They have some young players on the defensive side of the ball that are starting to make plays. plays. They traded one of their most popular players in the tight end, T.J. Hockenson, and they have 2 tight ends that immediately stepped up to the plate. So I think it's going to be an interesting battle for the Bears. But again, you need that support of the home crowd. You need these guys to factor in what the conditions are going to be in an outdoor game at this part of the season, and they got to go out there and do it with the same enthusiasm that they have up until this point.
Detroit's a hard team to figure out right now. Dan Campbell has these guys playing hard, so I expect a very, very, very physical game, almost a black and blue division type game against these guys. And the Bears want to play that way too, but they are the 32nd team now in the league in giving up points. Their defensive numbers have tanked. They've fired coaches. They've got some young pieces, and they're dangerous in that regard with some of these young talents. And then on the offensive side of the ball, there's somebody to contend with right now. Even though they got rid of Hockenson, as you said, they went to guys that never get a chance before. They came up and made some touchdown throws. They can run the football. They can do. The offensive line is pretty good.
Yeah, it is.
Penei Sewell, you got Ragnow,
Taylor Decker.
You got Decker. You got some names there, and they're protecting their quarterback.
And they all come from high, big programs and stuff. And they got Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift is an important part of their running back tandem, but Jamal Williams is the type of guy that's willing to carry the load. And when you have a factor in the backfield that is deceptive, who can create play action, and then you have a quarterback that can work accordingly, Jared Goff may not be the athlete that you see sometimes at the quarterback position around the league, but you still got to get pressure to him, and that's one of the things that the Bears have suffered through, not getting consistent pressure on the quarterback.
Yeah, he doesn't like a muddy pocket. We've learned that over the years when he came here with the Rams, and the pressure gets to him, and that's not his game. Rhythm is his game, and that is a dangerous component when you're completing passes repeatedly and not getting pressure, and you're moving the sticks. The other thing you mentioned, he's the leader in the NFC in rushing touchdowns with 8 this year, top of the heap. Yeah, top of the heap. Top of the heap.
He's a four-plus yard carry type of guy. He's physical, and I guess with Dan Campbell, if you go there and watch the Detroit game preview, he's probably saying, well, this is a defense that we can really get right with. This is a defense that we can run the ball and be successful to open up some opportunities for our guys downfield. But it's all about what the Bears can do and their advancement during the season and taking that next step forward.
All right, it's time to take our players to watch against the Detroit Lions. Where you going on offense? I took Fields last week, so I took the chalk.
All right, I'm going to the sideline. I'm going to Luke Getsy because I seen some creativeness in him in the last couple weeks with the emergence of Justin, and now what do you see out of Cole Kmet? A tight end sweep, a tight end taking a center quarterback exchange for a quarterback sneak. So, I love to see the creativity that Luke Getsy is using because now you got Chase Claypool here. You got 4 receivers that are 6'4" or better, then you include Darnell Mooney. So, to me, he'll never be in a 3-point stance, but I think he means a lot to the success of this game.
All right, I'm going to go back to Cole. I want to see it continue now. Let's build from here because I've always felt he was a red zone threat. I love the fact that they threw him the red zone last 2 weeks. So let's keep that train going. He's a big, rugged dude, hard to put down to the ground. I think he can get the offense excited with the ball in his hand. And I want to see more Chase Claypool this week, too, and that will happen naturally. All right, how about on the defensive side of the ball?
On the defensive side of the ball, I'm going to go with Jack Sanborn. Because I don't know what his role in the game is going to be, but I like what I see out of him the first game. Because here's a guy that's learning on the fly. You need a countless amount of reps to really develop the instincts at that linebacker position that you can help stop the running game and you can be involved in the passing game. I'm excited for the kid, so I want to see him come out here and have a home field performance that results in a win so he can celebrate the effort, but it's just that next step to be improving in his career.
I'm going to go with Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is a tough dude at corner. Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the slot is somebody that is going to be dangerous, obviously the brother of Equanimeous St. Brown, so that's a player to watch. I'm not sure. I haven't delved into it enough to know if they move him around, but he definitely gets a lot of damage done out of the slot. But I want to see a takeaway. I want to see a possession takeaway because they do have a good offense. They do have a highly ranked offense at one point, #1 in the NFL. So they can score points in bunches on you. I want to make sure that's preventable and start taking away some possessions. just like Miami did by taking away a possession from the Bears on Sunday. That was a difference maker in the game. Otherwise, we might be sitting here talking about another Bears win, a missed opportunity several times this season. Still learning in that process, but making progress.
And Detroit's going to be flying high after intercepting Aaron Rodgers 3 times.
How did they do it? But thank you, Detroit. But how did you do it? How did they do it? That's for another show and another time. That's Tom Thayer. I'm Jeff Joniak. We'll talk to you on the radio. Thanks for watching Game Preview. Bears and Lions Sunday at Soldier Field.